Hi, I'm Blizzard Planet. Imagine this. You hopped on the band rocket, and now you're on Planet Butter, a world made of sparkly peanut butter, and Blissi, the disco ball of self-reflection, the queen of Planet Butter, is whirling around in her transforming convertible. This is From My Planet to Yours. The I stands for intuition, where we think objectively, critically, and creatively to fuel the growth of your planet. Thanks for joining me in my 59th episode. If you watched last week's episode, then you already know I shared the world of Planet Butter with ChatGPT and in return asked it to challenge my thinking and my creations. That is, the belief system, the practice, the cycle for decision making, and the core methods of Planet Butter. On episode 58 last week, I read part 1 of the Q&A, and today I'll be reading you guys part 2 of the Q&A, starting with the same initial breakdown of Planet Butter. As always, email me your questions about the world of Planet Butter, your world, whatever you've got. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. Again, for those of you who listened to episode 58, well, thank you. And this first part is repetitive because I'm sharing the initial summary of Planet Butter that I sent to ChatGPT, and then we'll get into the fresh Q&A. All right. I said, Planet Butter is my world made of sparkly peanut butter. Intucentricism is its belief system, which is leading with our intuition, prioritizing self-control and self-expression while holding space for the feelings, desires, and experiences of others. It's essentially the healthy ego. The healthy ego, as Planet Butter sees it, is through two perspectives that operate simultaneously. One is our awareness of our consciousness, which is shaped through our emotional and intellectual experiences in our external world. The second perspective of the healthy ego is our emotional and intellectual growth as a result of our awareness of our consciousness. We embody intucentricism through the practice of self-friendship, which I define as the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. The practice of self-friendship is additionally intertwined with the Planet Butter jet ring of consciousness, which is our cycle for decision making. Essentially, as we practice embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, self-friendship, we leverage how we make our decisions to enhance our evolvement. This results in more expansive individuals and therefore a more expansive society operating in this system of intucentricism. ChatGPT said, "You've laid out a rich, intricate system, and I appreciate how deeply thought out your framework is. Let me challenge your thinking and refine this even further with questions that demand specificity, practical application, and addressing potential gaps. These questions aim to deepen your framework's clarity, utility, and resonance while addressing potential blind spots or contradictions." Really put me to the test. So, number 1 from ChatGPT. First question. Core belief system. Chat asks, intucentricism assumes everyone can effectively lead with their intuition after practicing self-friendship. How would this system address situations where someone's intuition is heavily influenced by past trauma, societal conditioning, or fear? Is their intuition still reliable, or does it require calibration through additional steps? My answer: intucentricism holds that everyone can lead with their intuition while practicing self-friendship, not after, as self-friendship is an ongoing, ever-evolving commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying oneself. So there's no endpoint, it's always. As for the second part of the question, how would this system address situations where someone's intuition is heavily influenced by trauma, societal conditioning, or fear? And is their intuition still reliable, or does it require calibration through additional steps? My answer: everyone experiences trauma, societal conditioning, and fear to some degree. So recalibration is necessary for everyone. And in Planet Butter's system, this calibration happens through the practice of self-friendship and that Planet Butter jet ring of consciousness. Together, it's a cohesive approach to learning and unlearning as a means of reconnecting with our intuition and trusting ourselves to act in accordance with it. And I'll break it down for you further. Self-reflection and self-connection help us recognize traumas, societal conditioning, and fear. It's awareness, which brings us to the 3 core methods. With our awareness and the inspiration to do so, we activate our self-friendship using these 3 core methods of boundaries, confidence, alignment. So we self-reflect, self-connect. What are your boundaries in any given situation? Does the situation cross your boundaries? Yes or no? Regardless of your answer, respect your boundaries. By default, you embody confidence and sustain or reconnect with your alignment. This activates our self-friendship practice. So while we encounter decisions that we need to make during that time, we then integrate, again, simultaneously, the PBJ ring of consciousness, which is intuition, sensations, action, sensations again, and the cycle begins again with intuition. Nurturing our trauma, societal conditioning, and fear requires all of these skills, these practices, to differentiate between our intuitive selves versus our conditioned responses. So it's this perpetual practice of self-reflecting, self-connecting, respecting your own boundaries, and seeing the results that come from that. So then you perpetually restart and reactivate it, because then you evolve more expansively and positively and excitedly. Ta-da! Number 2, chat says, self-centric but interconnected. The question, you mentioned prioritizing self above others, yet holding space for their others' experiences and feelings. How does this avoid creating a culture of hyper-individualism where collaboration and collective well-being take a back seat? Could it risk alienating people who value more communal or altruistic systems? I love this question. My answer, intucentrism is inherently communal, operating as a system of healthy ego and interconnectedness by default. It embodies united individualism rather than hyper individualism. Most existing communal systems are unhealthy and egocentric. Intucentrism contrasts these systems by emphasizing mutual respect and collaboration amongst self-sufficient individuals. While it may initially alienate those accustomed to unhealthy communal systems, the transition encourages healthier ways of being. So collaboration and collective well-being remain central to united individualism, to Planit Butter's belief system. It's an inherent result of prioritizing our own well-being, because humans are social creatures, and by default, we will simply be aligning with those who we are on the same frequency as, has the same values as. The result is collaborative and communal. It's just a healthy version rather than an unhealthy version. Number 3, distinguishing intuition from impulsivity. Chat's question. You define intuition as grounded. Again, guys, this was a question in response to last week's episode 58. So check it out to understand even more, where I did define intuition as grounded while the impulsiveness is ungrounded. But go watch the episode to understand. Now, you define intuition as grounded, but how does someone objectively identify when their intuition is aligned rather than impulsive if they lack experience or self-awareness? What would Planit Butter offer as a guide for this discernment? My answer, discernment comes with experience, which is why self-friendship is a practice, an ongoing process of embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves. The practice involves recognizing your boundaries, respecting them, embodying confidence, and staying or reconnecting with our alignment. Again, it's the 3 core methods. As we internalize our emotional and intellectual experiences through self-friendship and the Planit Butter Jet ring of consciousness, we naturally become more and more and more and more self-aware. To objectively identify when intuition is aligned rather than impulsive, we start by listening to what we initially feel or think is our intuition and taking action on it. If the outcome doesn't feel exciting, liberating, or expansive, it likely was not your intuition. Almost guaranteed it was not your intuition. Then reflect on the emotions, your bodily sensations, and responses you experienced to taking action on what you thought was your intuition. And self-reflect and self-connect. Did the action feel aligned with your best interest based on the results of that action? And therefore, you will know if it was your impulse or it was your intuition, because your intuition is going to feel real good. It's not going to feel bad. Well, we don't want to say good or bad either. This process of self-reflection and self-connection helps you discern whether you acted on intuition or impulse, which sharpens your awareness of your intuition and the ability to listen to it and trust yourself to listen to it over time. Quite a lot, I know, but that's why it's a practice, guys. We'll get there. Number 4, boundaries and misalignment. If someone's boundaries conflict with someone else's deeply held values, example, in a workplace or family dynamic, how does intucentrism guide resolving these conflicts? Is the solution always self-prioritization, or is there room for compromise? Answer: there is absolutely zero room for compromise. Zero room for compromise. However, there is always room for conversation if both individuals have a healthy relationship with themselves and one another, or are working on improving their relationship. In such cases, conversation can help reach a mutual understanding and, of course, improve the dynamic. If it's not a mutually respectful or valued relationship, it doesn't matter whether it's the context of family, work, or any other dynamic. Self-prioritization absolutely takes precedence. Compromising your boundaries means you are not prioritizing yourself, which leads to a contracted way of living. This prevents you from operating in expansiveness and from feeling the free, light, excited state that comes from being in alignment with your intuition, practicing self-friendship, meeting the people who you would be aligning with that would make you feel expansive and free and light and excited and la 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 la. By prioritizing ourselves, we do align with those people who respect our boundaries and our expansiveness, and they respect their own. Those individuals who respect their boundaries share that similar vision, enabling the effective collaboration through individuality. Someone whose deeply held values conflict with your boundaries likely indicates an unhealthy relationship. If someone's values do not respect your boundaries, it's simply not a healthy relationship. I would need specific context or a specific situation to expand on this and apply nuances, but in a simple and objective form, these are the 2 angles I would apply here. Essentially, there's always room for conversation in a healthy relationship, and there's no room for conversation in an unhealthy relationship. Number 5. Practical application of the Planit Butter Jet ring of consciousness. Chat's question: your cycle for decision-making is compelling, but what advice would you give for real-world scenarios where sensations are ambiguous or conflicting? Example, nervous excitement versus fear. How does someone differentiate between these states, especially when they occur simultaneously? Answer: trusting ourselves, right? It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. I will say it relentlessly because it's about understanding ourselves, the commitment to embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves so we can effectively interpret our bodies, our intuition, and our priorities. What is it that we want to be doing? Does it align with who we are and who we want to be? The way you know is by experiencing that free, expansive, happy, excited feeling in your body when you make a decision or take action. When you encounter ambiguous or conflicting feelings, Sit with them. Literally, sit down. Experience the feelings. Let yourself feel those feelings. Acknowledge, I am feeling this and that, and the answers will come to me. Just let it be. You learn yourself by acknowledging these feelings and holding space for experiencing both at the same time. Experiencing multiple emotions simultaneously is common. We constantly face complex situations and can hold space for multiple emotions to flow through us. It's called emotional regulation. It doesn't have to be, I'm only feeling this and I'm only gonna feel this. The feelings can come and go. Let all feelings exist. I am nervous and excited, and I'm also scared. Then ask yourself, why am I nervous, excited, and scared? What is the situation? What are my boundaries in this situation? By acknowledging your boundaries in the situation, this will guide you further to then activate your self-friendship, because you will start to form you will start to form a foundation of empowerment in the situation. So you ask yourself, once you know your boundaries, is the situation crossing my boundaries? Yes or no? That clarity will tell you whether you're excited or scared. If your boundaries are being crossed and you're scared, respect your boundaries. If your boundaries aren't being crossed and you're excited, keep going. Also respecting your boundaries. That is your intuition and alignment. Respecting your boundaries enables you to experience the confidence that comes with self-trust. It shifts nervous, excited states into pure excitement because you trusted yourself, respected your boundaries, made yourself feel safe, and built confidence from that self-trust. You operate in alignment by doing that, moving past those feelings, moving through those feelings, and then you're ready for your next decision. Number 6, integration with external systems. Could the Planit Butter Jet Ring of Consciousness be taught as a skill or framework for group decision-making in organizations or families? How might it evolve in contexts where multiple people's intuitions must align? My answer: intuition doesn't need to align perfectly across individuals. If your intuition leads you elsewhere, honor that and stay true to your alignment. When making decisions for an organization, family, or other collective, intuitions may initially diverge, and that's where the healthy conflict and conversation come into play. Intuition is fluid and inevitably shifts moment to moment, and particularly through discussion and collaboration. Each person in the group engages their own cycle of decision-making: intuition, sensations, action, sensations, hopefully, not therefore. And then they effectively contribute their insights. By sharing their perspectives, the group can refine its collective understanding, aligning actions with their shared goal. Hopefully that's helpful. Number 7, access for the less self-aware. You assert everyone practices self-friendship to some degree. However, for individuals who feel disconnected or numb, example those dealing with depression, what specific steps does Planit Butter recommend for reestablishing that connection? My answer: if you need professional help, go get it. Planit Butter's belief system is a life approach that can be integrated with whatever you've got going on, but it's not a replacement for anyone who may need or want professional support. It is, however, about taking responsibility for the fact that you are depressed or experiencing depression and not making depression your identity or an excuse. It's taking that depression and saying, I understand that I'm experiencing depression, owning that, understanding that it's in your power to do something about it. You can literally change your brain chemistry with the right tools from those professional people who offer them. Planit Butter offers personal responsibility to the fullest and new ways of thinking, not professional support traditionally. You could argue that this is professional support, but I don't want to get in trouble with society. I'm just trying to help. Okay. Number 8, perspective dancing. Perspective dancing, as you describe it, involves reframing situations optimistically. How does this prevent toxic positivity where people may suppress valid emotions or critical thoughts for the sake of relentless optimism? My answer. Well, perspective dancing is not about neglecting emotions. Perspective dancing is about propelling us into that optimistic, high energy, expansive, free feeling way of being so that we can effectively listen to our intuition and practice self friendship, yet emotionally regulating ourselves in this process. So if we feel sad about something, cry about it and then move forward. To move forward, that's where we perspective dance. We find a new way to view it in a relentlessly positive, optimistic way. It's not toxic positivity, it's positivity, period. It's, I'm going to feel this right now, but I also need to get on with my day and my life. And to do that, I need to look at this differently. Because our thinking affects our feelings and actions, if we just sit in the, oh, this sucks and I'm going to cry all day, that's not productive. That's not taking responsibility. There's no self-friendship in sulking or having a pity party. You acknowledge your initial perspective of the situation, your thoughts that are creating your unpleasant emotional reaction, and then you acknowledge your emotions, whatever the negative or unpleasant ones might be. You indulge yourself in them. You ask yourself about them. And then you shift the perspective so that you can productively, confidently, and excitedly move forward. Number 9, the role of opposition. Well, this is the last question. Healthy conflict is part of growth, as you stated. How does intucentrism account for those who challenge or reject its principles? Is there room in the system to adapt or grow based on external critique, or is it designed as a closed framework? My answer is, I'm not sure what you mean. How does intucentrism account for those who challenge or reject its principles? It doesn't. Those people are probably unhealthy and you probably don't want to engage with them, unless I'm misunderstanding the question. Is there room in the system to adapt or grow based on external critique? I mean, yeah, everything is open-ended, right? I don't even know what a closed framework is. If you pay attention to anything on Planet Butter, it's a system that perpetually evolves. It's a foundational system that is perpetually evolving. We all are. Critique that is constructive, kind, and actually beneficial helps us expand. If it's not constructive, we can leverage it, which is perspective dancing, to solidify our boundaries, our confidence, and our alignment with ourselves, and realize that it's not someone we want in our orbit who is giving this not constructive feedback. You see? Ta-da! I hope something resonated with you. I know that was dense. I know that was a lot. It's a lot for all of us. Life is crazy. I hope you enjoyed. I want to go catch sunset. I'm going to go catch sunset. I got to go. I hope something resonated with you. If you have any questions, email me, myplanettoyours@gmail.com. Bonus, from My Planet to Yours episodes featuring yours, email me anything you're navigating in your world or wondering about. Each selected submission it will be turned into its own episode where I offer my perspective dancing and opinions through the lens of self-friendship. This is, of course, not a substitute for professional support. Bonus episodes are now available once per month exclusively for founding members of Planet Butter's publication, posted on Substack. A new episode will be released this weekend, January 19th, 2025. planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. planetbutter.substack.com/subscribe. The link's also in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio @planetbutter. And the children's edition of Planet Butter's coffee table book with a lesson, Party of One, Self-Friendship in Action, is available internationally on planetbutter.com and international online retailers. Woohoo! Please subscribe and review the show wherever you're watching or listening. I love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for landing on Planet Butter. From my planet to yours. Blizzard.